Winter Olympic Games. Well, fabulous. Well, not looking so fabulous today. Fabrizio, a former Goldman Sachs trader, found liable in a massive billion-dollar fraud case, one that blew up during the mortgage meltdown. Many say accelerated it. The feds have been watching Wall Street very closely ever since the great hit back then. And we haven't seen a lot of guys thrown in jail. In fact, they've been kind of waiting there for their proverbial head on a stick. Why is that? To Fox Business Network's Charlie Gasparino, author of a great book, Circle of Friends, which gets into this notion that Wall Street itself dodged a bullet, but is this the bullet?
You know, it's interesting. He's not going to jail either. And we should point out that when you really think about it, the financial crisis caused so much pain in this country. I mean, we still feel it today.
Sure.
If you look at the unemployment report today, still lousy. It traces back to the financial crisis. And not not a single major figure has gone to jail, has really been charged even civilly. What do we got? We got Fabrice Touré, a mid-level Goldman Sachs executive. I'm sure he made a lot of money over there, putting together some a synthetic, mortgage-backed security.
Well, they're clearly looking for others. They're expanding this to Bank of America. What? What are they waiting for?
Yeah, but it's the statute of limitations is
right.
is coming down, and and those things will be civil charges. They're not really going after the individuals.
Is anyone going after the government? Is anyone going after the people who came up with the Community Reinvestment Act, the people who tried to take housing from being a goal to darn near a birthright?
Yeah, I mean, that was 2 books ago, 3 books, The Sellout.
Right.
I mean, I basically talked about this. What made Wall Street take so much risk, and maybe, and then maybe there was crimes in how they disclosed that risk. What made it? It was really government. I mean, government provided the underpinnings for the financial crisis. We should point out.
The government wanted more folks to get home.
And think of it this way: what was Wall Street really chasing when it was trying to put together all these bonds that were packed with mortgages that were riskier and riskier? They were chasing the money that was being made by Fannie and Freddie, which were Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, which were quasi-government institutions, which, by the way, can operate and finance those sleazy securities they were putting together as very cheaply, because they can borrow like the federal government. This is the weird thing.
Does anyone try to look into the fact there was a point where the government said, you got to be lending more, you got to be lending more. Then after the meltdown, don't lend like that ever again. And then they didn't for a while. They said, you got to lend more, you got to lend more. It's really like, who said? We're back and forth, back and forth.
The press really needs to get involved in this, and it fell down in the job. I remember back in 2005. You can check out this quote. Fannie and Freddie, there were problems there in terms of like their accounting disclosures, right? Franklin Raines, who ran, I think, Fannie Mae, making too much money, and what did he do in terms of disclosing certain accounting practices? The only very few reporters really looked into this. Why is it? Because guess what Fannie and Freddie did? They did something that liberal reporters like. That's, give housing to everybody. Right. And that's the bias. There's a clear bias here. And by the way, usually these congressional committees and the regulators, they feed off the press. That's the stories those are the cases they go for. Listen, I wrote a whole book about insider trading. Guess what? There's a lot of stuff about insider trading. There's a lot of regulatory pressure on it. Well, one of the reasons why is because reporters cover it so much. I tried to put it in context, though.
You did, and you did a very good job. That Circle of Friends is the book, puts all of this in perspective from the best business reporter on the planet, Charlie Gasparino. All right, well, you know the score, right?